Baby, you're back.
I'm back.
I don't understand why you
What is up, Watch Fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop.
And I'm Rollie.
He didn't miss a fucking beat. And today we're back with Liquor Run. Liquor Run's a series we've been doing for a long time, since basically the beginning of Theo and Harris, where my dad and I sit down, talk about watches, talk about life while we drink wine. We talk about the wine and generally recommend a good wine to the people. So today we're talking about the Rolex GMT, my dad's, the 16710, my new GMT, and what the GMT model has meant to the Zeron family. I think it's going to be a really beautiful conversation. And what are we drinking today, Daddy-O?
We're going to start.
Wow, I haven't said that in a while. What are we drinking today,
We're drinking a 2020 Langhe Nebbiolo from Produttori del Barbaresco.
I've had this bottle many times. It is a lovely bottle. I'm looking forward to cracking it open. Do the honors.
Yes, okay.
While I lay the groundwork for the episode.
Meanwhile, I haven't been on for a couple of years.
Has to go right there. Interesting.
Do I need pronouns now?
My dad identifies as wine glass. You identify as fat
Stemware.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. The Rolex GMT. I'm not going to tell the story for you because it's your story to tell. Here's to you. Let's get into it. So,
yes.
I remember being, I guess, it was your 40th birthday.
Yes.
So, how old was I?
11? Thereabouts.
I was about 11, a little bit younger, 10. And I remember being in the attic, which is where your office was.
Right.
And you had that shag carpet.
Right.
That bluish white
yeah.
shag carpet. Mm-hmm. And you used to sit me on your lap. Mm-hmm. I used to hang out up there a lot and fuck around and listen to you on the phone.
Yes.
And I remember feeling really cool that you would speak about business in front of me, and I remember feeling really cool that I knew about your business. I knew about the pharmaceutical industry. I felt very cool. And then when you were toying with the idea of getting a Rolex, you obsessed over it.
Yes.
The way that I think people forget to now, right? The old way. Where it's an expensive thing that you are working toward, as opposed to now where it's I don't know. I think it's lost a lot of the middle class cachet. The idea of one day I will be, if I work hard enough, one day I will be able to wear this fine Swiss watch. Mm-hmm. That was Rolex to me. It was like this. Maybe my dad will have this treat one day, right? So now you tell a little bit of that story and talk to me about why you chose the GMT.
It's really difficult to say one thing, but it was always that emblem, the green and the gold, the crown. That it was.
That drew you to Rolex.
It was really the Rolex name,
right?
And it meant success. It meant luxury, and I think I've said this before, like I've arrived.
Right.
Approaching my 40th birthday, and I did begin to obsess over it.
Oh, for sure.
And I would go online, you would sit on my lap, and we'd go on the computer and take a look at the GMT. I've always liked sports watches. Mm-hmm. So you can see my collection tends to,
You're more a sports watch guy than I am.
Yeah, I love sports watches. Yeah. And just the combination of the blue and the red on the dial just won me over.
On the bezel.
I'm sorry.
This company's 8 years old. What's wrong with you?
On the bezel. Yeah, I had just been promoted at work, so I was now a division manager, and it was no longer the guy carrying the bag. I was leading a team of 9 or 10 people, in the New York and
well, I mean, we've told the story a couple of times, but where were you when you were making like $29,000, right? Where were you?
Early on.
Yeah,
early on in the 90s.
When I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
I remember. Sure. I remember you knowing that you were really at an infantile
yes.
stage of your career.
Yes.
And you were insatiable, right?
Yeah.
Like you never flexed or flossed or you were just like one day. And it ain't right now.
Right.
Whereas now a lot of people, I think, we're living in this LinkedIn culture. Everyone's a fucking senior vice president.
Well, it's true.
I hate that. I hate that. What happened to the fucking the eating shit and knowing that you're pond scum, right? Like what happened to that? Like, I say Michael and I all the time, we've built an incredible company and are lucky enough to work on remarkable projects, but in so many circumstances, we have been the guys that were you're the help, right? Like you're the low guys on the totem pole, and we were okay with it and we knew what we were because we were like, because this is to a greater end. Which is the opposite of everyone today online. It's all about, you're already there. Everyone's already there.
Sure.
I don't care if you're a college graduate, you're a sophomore in college, or you're 40. Everyone's there. No one seems to be working toward anything anymore, right? Because everyone already did it. What's there to work toward? But the Rolex was that fucking symbol of, it's not over. It's a long journey forward, but I'm kind of getting there. I'm kind of there.
Yeah, I felt like I took that step.
Yeah.
Like I was on the landing. Totally. So now, obviously, more steps ahead. But at that moment, I felt, wow, we just achieved something. Right. I achieved something personally, professionally.
Right.
And by wearing this watch, I felt that professionally, I had arrived.
Right.
So
I remember you saying the idea of being on a plane or in a meeting, and your pensive look was always right with the watch.
Yeah.
It wasn't to show off.
No.
It was just like, it's almost like you were pretending to be the people that you had seen in a magazine. Or seen, you know what I mean? Like, you're finally the executive that goes, that's interesting. With your Rolex, right? That's fucking great.
Right.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the fucking best, So anyway, obviously I grew up with this affinity for the GMT.
Yes.
Because of yours, and it is more than any other Rolex, the achievement Rolex in my mind, because of you and because of that story. So obviously, I've been looking for a watch, and it never occurred to me to buy a GMT. It never occurred to me because there's only one GMT to me, and it's yours. And then I did realize that this watch existed, and this is now here. You could try it on.
Okay.
This is the white gold GMT. This is when Rolex reintroduced Pepsi into the catalog in 2014. Pretty cool, right?
Absolutely stunning.
So that is when Rolex reintroduced the Pepsi in 2014 because it had been discontinued and they hadn't had a Pepsi in years, and then they reintroduced it in white gold, which was kind of a, it's like, the Pepsi is available, but you can't afford it, kind of thing, and that was interesting. Then, of course, they did reintroduce it back into the catalog in steel years later. But when this watch was released, and they make this watch, in steel now. Okay. So this is basically identical to a steel GMT. The Rolex Smurf, do you know what that is? That's the Submariner with the blue.
Yes.
Your boss has one, right? That watch is stealthy because it's white gold, and it's a Submariner.
Right.
But it's blue, so it has a defining characteristic that it's white gold. This has none. There is no defining characteristic here that tells you that this is white gold.
That's a very good point.
That's cool.
Yes, I never thought of that until you just started describing that, because I've seen that watch. I've seen it on him.
Yes.
And I've held it.
But everyone knows it's white gold because it's blue.
And you can absolutely see that that difference.
They don't make a steel one.
Yes.
This they make a steel one.
Yes. Wow.
So when you wear this, it's just it is for all intents and purposes, it's a steel watch to the rest of the world.
Got it.
But obviously on your wrist, you like it because it's heavy and whatever. But it's a stealthy watch. I think it's pretty cool.
It's a beautiful
What
watch.
do you think about it?
I love the proportion of it. It reminds me of my own watch.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think this part here seems a little bit.
It's a super case.
It's
right?
okay.
So the case is 40 millimeters, but it is larger.
Okay.
Right? It's like the lugs are thicker.
They are. Yeah. You can absolutely tell.
I think the thing that would jump out to you is the bezel, right?
The bezel.
You haven't had a Pepsi bezel in quite some time.
Yeah, that's right. And, Yeah. I've got a faded Pepsi bezel.
You got the old lady.
Yeah, they've got the old lady,
which is obviously in its own right remarkable. I love this bezel. People pay thousands of dollars for bezels like this.
Natural fade.
Yeah, they pay thousands of dollars to get a bezel like this.
Yeah.
So it's not a defect. It is a defect, but it's like an asset.
I told you this past summer, on vacation, I told everyone at home I was not going to wear that watch on vacation. I wore the watch on vacation
because we were traveling Europe, and we always get nervous.
Yes. Rightfully so.
Yeah, and I didn't wear a watch on vacation, and you knew that. And I said, I'm not risking it. I don't want to get into a fight in Barcelona. I don't want to get into a fight in Europe. I don't want to fight anybody. And I told you, don't wear your watch because you're not just losing money. You're losing a part of your story.
Sure, right.
And my dad, I'm from suburban New Jersey. And I'm not tough. I'm all right. But you're tough. You know what I mean? You're tough. You're a tough guy, and I'm not.
Bring on the Catalans.
Yeah, exactly. So my dad basically looked at me and goes, "I'm gonna wear the watch." And I was like, "But what about?" And he's like, "No one's gonna stand between me and my watch. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen." And I was like, "All right, I guess we're doing it. I guess So that was great. Yeah. I love this watch. It's great. It's great. It's a fantastic watch.
Yeah,
that watch
I love it.
is not this watch to me. I hope to make memories with this watch. Mm-hmm. I have zero emotional attachment to that watch. I have no feeling of achievement associated with that watch. None. Zero.
I have tremendous emotional attachment already.
Yeah. You can wear it.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I love it.
I love it.
That watch, and
it's lovely.
But the truth is, that watch means nothing to me. It means nothing to me, especially when I have this GMT on. This is the GMT, period. That's an incredible watch. It's obviously a heavier metal. I mean, whatever. It's cool. But even though this watch is, Mom paid $5,000 for this watch, like $4,800, and the retail on this watch was like $35,000, right, or maybe more. So it's a much more expensive watch. But this watch symbolizes a hell of a lot more achievement than this watch does. Period. End.
Sure.
Period. End. What do they say? We shouldn't stand on the shoulder or sit on the shoulders of giants and think that we're flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that I certainly feel that way all the time, and I think that people like me should feel that way because we're able to do remarkable things and great things, but it's only because our forefathers, right? You and your parents, all these people that did their role and went above and beyond the call of duty to put people in positions to have it easy. And to, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
This watch was easy to pay for. I mean, in the grand scheme of
course,
having to work to pay for something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
It's very expensive. It wasn't cheap. But a lot less blood went into this watch than went into this watch.
Yeah.
And that to me is the achievement.
In some ways, yeah. I think in many ways.
That's the achievement.
Yeah. But that's why that watch is special to us.
100%.
I
I may wear this watch tonight. I may stick you with that one.
That sounds good.
But
What a score.
Yeah, what a score. My dad's like, what a fucking idiot. What a sappy prick. I just made $30,000.
It's such sentimental value.
Woody Allen says he was wearing a watch and he goes, this is my grandfather's watch. And the woman goes, oh, really? He goes, he sold it to me on his deathbed. That's great. That's fucking great. Oh my God. So yeah. Anna can have mom's jewelry.
Right.
But the GMT is
that.
mine. But that being said, if I had nephews, I'd love for them to wear it as well and and everything.
Yeah.
It looks great.
She served me well.
Yeah,
and she will continue.
And you've
to do
never
so.
polished it. I'm
No, I've
looking
never
at
have.
it right now. It's just never been polished.
Nope.
It's razor sharp.
Yeah.
You can feel it. It's wild. This watch is in better condition than this watch.
All I can say is it's something that really resonates with you, something that you've created some kind of an attachment to, a sentimental, link. Because that's what happened to me in my watch.
Right.
I developed this connection to that watch. I was in Bermuda, and I came really close to buying that watch on a business trip.
Right.
And I didn't pull the trigger. Thank God I didn't. But it was that I knew I needed to have that watch.
Right.
So I think my advice to you or to anyone would be that if you have that strong connection, and you've got all your ducks in order.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying go out and buy something ridiculous that you can't afford, but if you're gonna make that splash, make it special.
Yeah.
Make it special. Have that connection with that piece.
I think that a lot of it is not just what it meant to you when you got it, but you never took this watch off.
Right.
So it represents a decade. Well, really, it's been more than that. It's been 16 years.
Yeah.
But it represents a lot of the last 16 years of memories. My Breguet is a good example. I have a lot of memories of my Breguet. Right. I wore my Breguet on my first date with Sally, and I've worn it basically on basically every date with her since. Right. And that means something to me. Right.
Yeah.
That watch, I think I only paid maybe $13,000 for
Okay.
that watch. Right, so it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but much less expensive than this.
Yes.
And yet that watch to me is like, is very valuable, right? I mean, if we break up, I don't throw the watch in the garbage for all I give a. I don't care. I mean, throw the watch with her right in the garbage. But I mean it like that watch has sentiment. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, it
like
does.
that means something.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, and my date just. Right, like maybe there will never be another watch that takes the place of my date just. My date just represents being, taking this large risk in life, or this very very small risk, right, in relative terms. But for me, pursuing this career, in entrepreneurship, and not really having the money at the time, like kind of having the money, like that was maybe the watch. Maybe I will never have something equivalent to your GMT the way that I have my date just.
And I think you just answered your own question.
Yeah.
I think it's right there. That's it. Because
When I saved myself a lot of money if you told me that yesterday.
Because when I see you, as your dad, and when you post the photos of that particular watch, that's the one I most closely and will always identify with you with.
Yeah, right.
Because it's that watch.
Right.
That is. I remember the story. I remember, the leap of faith, right, and even the concern, like, why are you buying this watch at this point?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of there's a lot of backstory to that watch that I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
That today, this business that you have, but it all started from really. In many ways, from that moment.
Oh, for sure.
And if there's one watch, like I feel like that watch is my brand.
Yeah.
Because I really don't take it off very often. I hardly wear the other watches.
Right.
I always wear that.
Yeah.
That, while you don't wear your Rolex as often as I wear mine,
Right.
when you do, that is you.
And I've worn it so much more in the last year than I had in the last couple of years. So much more. So, and you know why? It was because, I got on the list for an AP, and I never got the call, which kind of like annoyed me. I mean, but listen, I'm not trying to be a brat. I mean, it's a long wait. There are thousands of people out there that are qualified buyers, far richer than me, that can buy way more watches from AP down the line. I'm not really like a valuable client to AP. You want to feel warm and at home.
Yeah.
And my date just feels warm and at home to me. That watch feels like, I called it my little blue reminder, because that's what it was to me in that time, right? When I didn't know where the company was going to go, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, I didn't know what was up. I had a little blue reminder on my wrist.
Yeah.
A North Star.
Yeah.
That was cool. And I feel like that was this for you, right? Like,
Yes.
Keep going.
I love the North Star, analogy.
Yeah, this watch is your North Star.
It
in many
is.
ways.
It is. Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
But it is.
Yeah.
It is. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
It's the one I always look to. It's the one that gives me strength.
Yeah. Would you ever buy another watch? For real. Not
Yes.
like
Yes.
not. Yeah, I'd like
No,
this.
no, no.
I mean,
Yeah,
practical.
one more.
Doll. I mean, like what is it? Like to the pavement. Like real world talk. Would you actually buy another watch? Or
Yes.
are you good?
Am I good? Yes, I'm good. I've got everything I could
No, I
ever
know
ever
that.
want.
I know that,
But yes, I have one more splurge in me.
What would you do?
It's what it is.
Yeah,
It's the
it's
Longa.
the 1815.
1815.
Blue hands.
Blue hands. It with the blue croc strap.
Yeah.
That is my watch. I feel that as I get older, maybe a little bit less active, or just
Could you be less active? I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Holy
as I become more of a distinguished gentleman, ascot, Sunday,
yeah.
croissant. In my 1815.
1815. Yeah.
That is the watch.
Yeah. And I think that the reason that watch is so important to you, because Michael and I just had a conversation about watch culture, or culture, and how it informs watch popularity, right? And the reason that the reason Longa isn't that famous is because they do not sell what is popular in culture, and what's popular in culture is athletic sports, sports watches, right? Longa sells watches that are elegant, and those watches they do not sell very well. Right? Longa is a fine company, they have very small production, yada yada, but that is not popular. But you aspire, right, to what is not culturally popular, right? You are aspiring to the day that I actually relax.
Yes.
And wind my 1815.
Yes.
As opposed to run and build my career. right, with my automatic, you know, my Oyster Perpetual. Right? Think about that. I'm not even.
No,
I'm not even trying to be that poetic. But that's pretty true.
Exactly right. It's yeah, that's the spot right there.
You look forward to being the sitting executive, as opposed to the hustling. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because you're young. You are young, but you've always more cared for that wisdom seat than for the. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
That you really are more of a Longa 1815 than you are a Royal Oak. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's, if watches have personality,
that's a faster watch. Yes, the
Royal Oak,
the Royal Oak, yeah. Completely.
Yeah.
That one speaks more to me.
Right.
I feel more with the 1815 feels settled and right.
That's interesting.
Yes, in a Mercedes wagon.
Oh my God! But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, anyway. Watches are stupid material items. We don't need them. That's fine. That's fine. It's all well and good. But
yes,
what
no. Go ahead.
No, but some mean something far more than money or time.
Yes.
And that is what this watch is. This watch means a hell of a lot more than the money it's worth or the time it tells. And that watch is great. And Dad, I hope I make memories with that watch.
Yeah.
I hope that that's a thing. I hope that we, like, you and I can wear our GMTs together and like be buddies and like kind of like, you know, have this thing in our family where like we are GMT people. I don't know why I want that. I don't know why that's a thing. Maybe like it's the Submariner is a different message than the GMT, right? The Submariner doesn't have polished center links, right? The GMT does. The GMT is for the pilot, and a pilot is a jet set person. It's a white collar person, and we're just a bunch of, you know, poor people from Brooklyn, right? You know what I mean? Like that are just trying to do better. You know what I mean? And maybe that's why you know what I mean?
There's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, because you know when you've eaten shit, you know, for growing up and being a kid that had nothing, but still had, you know, a North Star to say, hey, there's more to life than this.
Yeah.
We're gonna succeed. I just happened to lock into a watch that happened to be the watch, and it became something that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
So you with this guy,
who knows?
You know, who knows? Let's have Hemingway moments.
Yeah, right.
Let's go to Cañete in Barcelona. Let's go to Minetta Tavern.
Yeah.
You know, let's wash down oysters together.
Yeah. Let's get robbed gunpoint in.
Let's get robbed gunpoint.
In West Third.
Right. And then let's steal their watches.
Yeah, right. My dad looks at the guy and says, "Make my day. Make my day."
So
God.
That's how I feel about that watch. My connection is very, very layered. It is very deep.
Yes.
It's very deep.
Yeah.
It's not just something that was a spur of the moment thing. It was,
and that's what people miss out on, Dad. I know so many people with more money than you know. We'd burn our money for theirs. Mm-hmm. We'd burn our money for theirs. But I think a lot of the people that I talk to have lost that sense of it's almost like, you know, remember Hook? You know, Peter Pan forgot. Yeah. Peter Pan forgot what it was like.
That's right.
You know, to be a kid.
Yeah.
You know, he became a lawyer and it was horrible,
right.
You know? And you've got to kind of go back to your roots. Like with Swatch. That Swatch film, I got a compliment on it today. And she was like, by the way, I don't know if you got enough credit for that. That was probably the best thing I've ever seen you guys do. Maybe the best watch ad ever. Maybe she's being dramatic, fine. But like, that was that good. Like that was all about going back to your roots. And it's such a real message. And until you can do that, I don't think that $30,000 resonates at all. 50,000, 100,000. There is no number. There is no number. It's all about actually valuing something on an emotional level.
Absolutely.
And more money does not mean that. It just doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
But in luxury spaces, that's the way people go. They just, you know, up the ante, more money.
Well,
more
because
money,
because it's the easiest way to go.
Right.
It's an easy fix.
Yes.
But it does, you know, but it's also a very shallow fix.
Yes.
You know, so, well, I mean, I don't want to get...
No, yeah.
You know, but
it's
you
liquor.
I mean,
we're just talking about people that tune into this, literally, they want to talk about watches, but they really just want to hear, you know, us talk about, you know, kind of life. That's what Liquor Run, you know, is. Another thing I wanted to tell you was, I don't know if you know this on a conscious level. Mm-hmm. I think you definitely knew it on a subconscious level. But like we were talking about before, the GMT obviously was a Rolex sports watch. But it was the elegant oyster. whereas the Submariner was the sports oyster. That was the real, like, you know, tough guy watch, right? The diver versus the pilot. The pilot wears a suit. The pilot's getting paid pretty well. You know what I mean? He's an elegant guy.
Right.
And it kind of makes a hell of a lot of sense to me that you chose the GMT over the Submariner, because, like, even as an anecdote, like when I was a kid, when I would want to go camping with the Boy Scouts, you know, my dad would look at me and just saying, I wish you waited till after I was 9 to tell me this. But you said, I grew up with bugs in my apartment. I'm not sleeping in the wild with you. Period. Like, and I'm like, well, another dad will do it. He goes, you're not sleeping with another dad. It's not happening. We're going to go for the day, and we're going to come home to our home that we paid for. Okay. Do you think it's cool to play poor for a night? It's like, people have to live like that. Don't mock it. And I'm like, I'm not mocking it. I want to camp. You know, but that was a very unique. But it's the truth. So that's why, to me, a Submariner is just never you. Not that people wear Submariners, but it's just, you have no interest in the narrative of getting down and dirty.
No.
I grew up in the dirty.
Yes.
I'm done with that.
I like the elegance.
I work really hard. I work really fucking hard.
That's right. That's right.
You know, but that's my childhood, man.
So
like, how about when the time I remember the time we came home from camping, the day trip, and I had 2 ticks on me?
Yes.
So I'm in the shower, right? I'm in 7th or 8th grade, 7th grade for argument's sake, and my mom was away. I don't know where the fuck she was.
Day trip.
She was no. Where was mom?
I was with you.
You were with me.
Away, yeah.
Mom was away. I don't know where mom was, and it was you and I. And I go upstairs and I'm showering, and I see a tick on me, 2 ticks, and I'm naked. But when you're a child, you get so scared. I wasn't that young. It's the thing. I was like in 7th grade, so
you're like 17,
right? So this is like 6 months ago, right? So I'm like hairy and my penis is fully out. So no, but I have these ticks and I yell, Dad, like, oh, not daddy, but like, Dad, like, I have ticks. Like, what about Lyme disease, you know? And my dad comes in the room and he goes, motherfucker, that's the fucking wilderness, right? Like, and he runs out. He stay there. I'm like, my dad goes downstairs, comes back up with a fucking kitchen knife that is so large. It is a tremendous kitchen knife and a bottle of vodka. And I'm in 6th grade, 7th grade. And my dad goes, pours this vodka all over my arm to sanitize me like an idiot, and then takes this knife and starts to cut out this tick. Mind you, this tick could have been pulled out with fucking tweezers. Literally no problem, no reason we needed a knife like that. And the last fucking time, we're going to the fucking woods. Okay, we'll bond here. Okay, build a fire in the backyard. That is how funny is that?
That's very true.
And then the rest of the night, he was telling me a story about how his dad or his uncle fell asleep one time in their apartment, and a cockroach got stuck in his ear. Remember that? Was that your dad?
Yes, my father.
And he's like, that's how it used to be. We're not like that anymore. We don't have cockroaches in our house, and we don't have ticks on our fucking arms. What the fuck? Sick.
Yeah.
Sick. People are like, why do you have a complex? I'm like, I don't know.
That's why I locked into Rolex.
Oh, shit.
You want to talk a little bit about the wine?
Yeah,
what's the point? The point is...
No, the point is that we started Liquor Run.
Yeah.
I started Liquor Run. I've told the story before. I started Liquor Run because I thought that we'd be able to sell more watches if people took a veil behind, took a look behind the veil and saw that we were just regular, good people that were just nice and fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like just good folks. And a lot of the shop has been built on the back of Liquor Run. Right, because people saw that earnest, that family stuff, and that's I've said it a million times publicly, but I'll just say it again. I wouldn't have that to show. I wouldn't have that great background to show if I didn't have that great background, and I wouldn't have that great background if it weren't for you and Mom, and I wouldn't be here, and Michael wouldn't be there, and Michael actually should be doing very well in computer science. Michael would be making hundreds of thousands of dollars elsewhere, But
the best chowder.
Yeah, he'd be doing great. Yeah, Michael's a lobster millionaire, so he's fine. But I wouldn't have a white gold GMT, and I wouldn't have anything, and that's it. So.
What's the saying? Every day.
Families are always rising and falling in America.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. And then you always follow it up by wealth only lasts 3 generations, suspended. Which is so true. As soon as you give kids money, that's
Right.
it. You know?
That's right.
I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change a thing about the way that you did it, man. I wouldn't. I mean,
thank you.
You know, apart from the fact that you daze out sometimes, and I could tell when you're not listening.
No,
But
I
other
daze
than
out a
that-
lot.
Yeah, but other than that, you know, as soon as the camera's on, you're so engaged. Langa.
Okay, so
It's not El Langenzona, but it's
It's
Langa.
Lange,
Nebbiolo.
right? Lange. So you guys should go out and try this wine. This is readily available. This is an Italian wine from the Piedmont region of Italy. So the northwest corner of Italy. This is interesting because Produttori del Barbaresco is a cooperative of wine growers. So they source the grapes.
Sounds
from,
like commie bullshit to me.
but they don't.
I'm kidding. It's voluntary.
Yeah, it's well no they all benefit, right?
Yeah,
Well, in some ways, I guess.
No, they're working together.
They work together. They work together. You know?
No, they're working together.
And
It sounds like commie bullshit.
but they have wines that you know, here this is a $21, $22 bottle of wine, all the way up to
Like
serious big money.
Yeah.
And you can't, you know, it's hard to find, you know, a company or a cooperative that gives you such incredible value and beautiful taste. I mean, this is a beautifully structured wine.
Lovely wine.
Lovely wine, especially for this time of year where you've got, you know, now your roasted meats and things. This wine is
fantastic.
killer. It's killer. So I suggest you guys go out and try it. You should be able to find it.
$21.
Yeah.
People aren't going to believe how good this
Yeah.
wine is.
This is really
It's a
good.
light wine. It's
Yeah.
fruity, but it's exactly what I look for. It's exactly what I look for.
It's the stuff that we try to.
More intelligent tasting notes. Hold on.
It's
It looks like I have a vagina right now. What are you getting?
well, so I get this real.
It's a really nice acidity.
Nice
It's
acid.
nice.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
not sharp.
Yeah, it's not. It's very distinct from a Sangiovese
Yes.
acidity,
Oh,
which that's sour. This
Sour.
is acid.
not.
This is
This
sour.
is almost. I mean, bear with me. It's almost effervescent. It almost kisses like a Lambrusco.
Almost like a Lambrusco.
It's not a Lambrusco,
but it's
clearly.
not.
It's
Clearly
not as sweet either. I mean, this is
It's like
really
rhubarb.
okay. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have said
telling
that,
you.
but okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd have to taste rhubarb again. I would, but this, it's delicious. It's like you said, and the best thing to say is it's acidic, but not in the way that you'd be getting from a lot of other Italian wines like a Sangiovese. It's just not.
It's not astringent.
No.
It does have beautiful fruit. I think it's almost like a sour
Strawberry.
cherry. Like strawberry. Strawberry is probably a better descriptor
100%.
than sour cherry.
Yep.
This is lovely. This
Yep.
is lovely. Again, I think it goes great at this time of year. I think it's phenomenal. It'll cut through, I think, some nice dishes that you have around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't really drink super heavy wine.
Yeah, I personally don't.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah,
But for the holidays,
This
I
is
think
delicious.
You can serve this at $20, $21, $22 a bottle.
it's a big shot bottle at $2,100.
It's a big
It was
shot
at
bottle.
$2,100.
Yeah, sure.
It's a big shot bottle at
Sure.
$2,100. It's
Right.
like nothing. It's really
Yeah.
a joke. Like it's nothing.
It's nothing. It's $2,100.
It's nothing.
Lovely bottle.
Lovely wine.
But yeah.
Lovely wine. One more thing before we sign off. This has become basically a podcast. But obviously next week, the week of the 14th to the 18th, it's a regular week. We've got some things, but the following week before Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving, tell everyone what we do.
We watch.
You forgot.
No, Scent of a Woman. Al Pacino, but my God, let's do it again.
Yeah, no.
It says Scent of a Woman.
But it's
this
kind of
is
cool.
now a 3-year tradition.
Yeah.
And not a BS one, but a legit one.
Yeah.
We'll sit there and we'll have
Eat good food, drink good wine.
Great wine.
Yeah.
And we watch this movie. It is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I have such
Phenomenal.
fond memories of Thanksgiving growing up, even with like turkey and stuff like that. The turkey neck in the morning. We'll talk about that in a different episode, but with Beaujolais, maybe we'll do Beaujolais again soon, and we'll do another episode soon.
I almost
'Cause
would have,
it's been too long. It's been too long. We have to do it more often, and this is one of the things that makes this channel special. And when we get busy, with work, with other things, with LMF, with large clients, we don't have the time to we don't have the time to do all the fun shit that makes a channel special, and that's a shame. So we're gonna make an effort to do it.
I want to say cheers to all of you guys that watch. Your channel. I've met some of you. So I've met some of your
met
clients
dozens of
and so
our
yeah,
friends, our friends.
And I love the posts. It makes me happy to see that what we do when we get together here, which is totally unrehearsed. Yeah. You can tell because you constantly catch me off guard.
That's right. It's great.
But it's a joy, and I'm glad that we're doing something that puts a smile on people's faces.
Daddy-o.
Yep.
Love you. All right.
Mwah. Love you.
Let's finish this bottle of wine, gentlemen, ladies.
Salud.
3% of ladies that watch. Salud.